Satyam vada dharmachara satyamev jayate. Good evening friends, Shubh Sandhya. I am Vipul Kumar. Welcome all of you news desk on income tax, GST and corporate laws. Let's cover news on income tax. Guwahati Tribunal ITT passes penalty notice as it hadn't spelled out fault of the assessee against which penalty was levied. Wherein penalty notice assessing officer had not spelled out what was fault for which assessee was being proceeded against for levy of penalty, notice was waived, hence penalty order was also bad. Assessee explanation that accountant of assessee suddenly left office or service without properly handling our books causing delay in the completing audit report is reasonable and thus no penalty would be levied. Mumbai Tribunal no section 68 edition just on reason that company performance didn't justify receiving high value of share premium. In this case, where the assessee company issued shares at high premium and genuineness of transaction and identity and credit worthiness of share applicant were proved addition under section 68 could not be made merely on ground that assessee company performance did not justify high value of the share premium. Provision of section 56 subsection 27B inserted by Finance Act 2012 with effect from 1st April 2013 to examine justification of the share premium would apply prospectively from assessment year 2013-14. In another case, Bangalore Tribunal, no infirmity in the dispute resolution panel's direction to the assessing officer that forex gain should be considered part of the operating income. There are 6 decisions taken in this case, Bangalore Tribunal. In this case, first, where company selected was mainly engaged in the providing high-end service involving a specialized knowledge and domain expertise, while assessee was a low-end service provider. Selected company was to be excluded from the list of the comparable in transfer pricing. Second, where company selected by engaged in the development of the computer software and so nature of the engineering design service provided by this company was in the form of the development of computer software which was in nature of high-end service, while assessee was providing low-end IT naval services, selected company could not be considered to be good comparable. Decision third, where the DRP dispute resolution panel following decision rendered by the coordinate bench directed assessing officer that foreign exchange gains should be considered as part of operating income, there was no infirmity in direction given by the DRP. And fourth, where the DRP applied export filter on all comparable companies, and since one of the comparable companies selected by the TPO failed this filter, DRP directed for exclusion of the same action of the DRP would not amount to setting aside a draft order. Fifth, where the DRP had followed binding decision rendered by jurisdictional high court in giving direction to the assessing officer to exclude telecommunication and foreign travel expenses both from the export turnover and total turnover, while competitive deduction under section 10A or 10AA, there would be no reason to interfere with said direction. Decision 6, where the assessee voluntarily made transfer pricing adjustment and added same to total income while filing return of income and claim deduction under section 10AA on profits of the business arrived at after inclusion of aforesaid amount, assessee would be eligible for deduction under section 10AA in respect of voluntary transfer pricing adjustment made by it. In another case, Jaipur Tribunal, levy of fees under section 234E is mandatory in nature and cannot be imposed as per discretion of the assessing officer. Levy of late fee under section 234E is mandatory in nature and assessing officer has no discretion to take his own decision, but he has to make adjustment on account of levy of late fee as provided under section 234E in case there is a delay in submitting TDS statement. Another case, Kolkata Tribunal, retention money being contingent upon satisfactory completion of the contract work is taxable in actual year of receipt. Retention money retained by the contractee being deferred payment and contingent upon satisfactory completion of the contract work, assessee would have no vested right to receive same in year in which it was retained. Income was to be booked in the year of the actual receipt. Another notification, benefit of extended due date is applicable to section 54 to 54 GB government issued corrigendum. The Ministry of Finance has issued corrigendum that the extended due date of the 30th September 2020 for making investment or completing construction or purchase for claiming deduction from capital gains arising during the financial 2019-20 shall be applicable to section 54 to 54 GB of instead of section 54 or 54 GB as contained in the notification 35/2020. There is a mistake in the notification. This mentioned section 54 or section 54 GB. Instead of reading section 54 or 54 GB, you read section 54 to section 54 GB. Another case, Delhi Tribunal, corporate guarantee fee paid to the Netherlands-based associated enterprise not liable to tax in India as interest or foreign fees from technical services. In this first decision, where the SSC company paid corporate guarantee fee paid to its associated enterprise located in the Netherlands in absence of any provision of the capital and debt claim between the parties, amount so paid was not liable to tax as interest in India under Article 11 of the India-Netherlands Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. Decision 2, where the SSC paid corporate guarantee fees to its associated enterprises based in Netherlands, which was brought to tax by the Revenue Authority in India under Article 12 of the India-Netherlands Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement as fee for technical services in view of fact that it was a case of rendering financial services and by no stretch of imagination it would be regarded as providing consultancy services. Payment in question was not taxable in India under Article 12 of the India-Netherlands Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. Let's cover news on the GST. Now SMS facility for filing of the nil GSTR 1 to be initiated from first week of the July 2020 GST celebration day. After facilitating filing of the nil GSTR 3 weeks through SMS, the government had decided to provide the facility to file nil GSTR 1 statement as well through SMS facility starting from first week of the July 2020. Now the taxpayer having nil GSTR 1 need not log into their GST portal and can simply file the same through SMS. Let's cover news on the corporate law. NCLAT demands matter back to the NCLT as petition filed under section 241 was dismissed without giving opportunity to appellant. In this case, section 241, and as per section 241 of the Companies Act, this provides that any member of a company can make an application for seeking relief to the NCLT in case of operation and mismanagement. In this case, where the NCLT dismissed petition under section 241, while the appellant, without providing proper opportunity to the appellant to present genuineness or otherwise of the document in relation to provision of section 241 matter was remanded back to the NCLT to decide petition under section 241 appraise. In another case said Mumbai appellant was guilty of the insider trading for passing on information with respect to open offers with TPs, where the trading pattern of the TPs made to apparently clear that the TPs had prior information with regard to the open offer and appellant, a connected person and insider directly involved with the activities pertaining to the open offer, had passed on prior information to TPs. Appellant was guilty of the insider trading. One press release issued by the Ministry of Electronics and IT today, 29th June 2020. In this press release, government bans 59 mobile apps which are prejudicial to the sovereignty and integrity of India, defense of India, security of the state and public order. Today, Ministry of Finance issued this press release. Zoom is the note in the list. Thank you so much for watching this news channel on the income tax, GST and corporate law. Please share this video among professional colleagues and students so that most of the students or professional colleagues are benefited from this video. Thank you so much.